50 always been competition for Jay, remember? I'm about $1, what the 50 Cent?
Everyone knows 50 Cent and Jay-Z have been clashing since the 90s. While 50 has never backed down from the competition, you can't say the same for Jay.
See, he's a piece of work, man. He always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him.
But now, with everything that's happened, there are reports that 50 is sitting on information so serious it could put Jay away for life. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly what that means. The setup. To understand how 50 Cent set up Jay-Z, you gotta go back to when this whole thing started. Because Fifth ain't just been talking reckless out of nowhere. This man been waiting on Jay-Z to slip for over 2 decades. The main allegation that rocked Jay-Z's world came from a federal civil lawsuit filed in the Southern District of New York, initially lodged anonymously in October 2024. The plaintiff, known only as Jane Doe, claimed that at 13 years old, she was sexually assaulted by both Jay-Z and at a private house party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. On December 8, 2024, the complaint was amended to identify Celebrity A as Sean Jay-Z Carter. Now here's where 50 Cent enters the picture. See, Fifth been running his mouth about for years. Everybody thought he was just talking that talk, doing what 50 does, trolling, getting under people's skin. But when world came crashing down with all them federal raids and that arrest on racketeering and sex trafficking charges, suddenly 50 Cent looked like a prophet.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Jay-Z?
That was interesting. When I was saying things not knowing exactly what I was saying, but I was going with like, where's Jay at? He's mad quiet. Like while the Puffy thing was going on. But it's obvious now that his team was being made aware that he was in those allegations also. You know, so I hope it works out, because with his family, the things that go on internally is that those accusations are crazy.
Peep how 50 moves. He been questioning Jay-Z's silence while the situation was unfolding. All them interviews where he kept asking, where's Jay at? That wasn't just curiosity, that was strategy. 50 Cent was laying the foundation, planting seeds in people's minds before the allegations even dropped publicly. The thing is, 50 and Jay-Z got history that goes way deeper than social media beef. This tension traces back to 1999, when 50 Cent dropped How to Rob, a track where he jokingly outlined plans to rob prominent artists, including Jay-Z. Jay-Z responded at Hot 97's Summer Jam with the now famous line, I'm about $1. What the f is 50 cents? But here's what people don't understand. 50 Cent ain't never forgot nothing. He operates on a different timeline than most rappers. While others let beef cool off, 50 stores that energy like a battery. He waits, he watches, and when the moment comes, he strikes. When them allegations hit Jay-Z, 50 Cent was ready. On December 9, 2024, he posted, and later deleted, an Instagram mocking Jay-Z's attendance at the Mufasa, the Lion King premiere with his family. The caption read something like, Jay said they said I rapped a kid. Everybody get dressed, we going to see Mufasa.
I was eating Raisin Bran. Okay, I'm eating Raisin Bran. I got my daughter in my arm. I'm scrolling, right? I see somebody screenshot your is Jay and the whole family at the Mufasa premiere, and then the comment is 50 Cent. Jay said, they said I a 13-year-old. Let's go watch Mufasa.
Everybody get dressed. We're going to see Mufasa right now. I just think it was a good look, like angling yourself as
a family man.
Yes.
50 ain't just trolling, he's narrating. He's providing the commentary track to Jay-Z's downfall in real time. And the thing about 50's approach is he presents it all as just jokes, just observations. But them jokes hit different when everybody already wondering the same thing. What makes this a setup is the timing. 50 Cent been working on a Netflix documentary about allegations titled Do It. He got access to information, he got sources, he got the receipts. While Jay-Z was trying to maintain that billionaire businessman image, 50 was building a whole production around exposing that world. The G-Unit General even shared an AI-generated video depicting Jay-Z and being arrested, joking about fearing retaliation. That's psychological warfare, fam. He ain't just commenting on the news, he's creating content that shapes how people visualize Jay-Z's potential future. And 50 Cent knew something crucial about the case that Jay-Z probably hoped people wouldn't catch. When Jay-Z's statement called for the accuser to press criminal charges, 50 pointed out a major flaw in that defense.
it's over 20 years old. This was 2000, bro.
No, but I think if it's a minor,
when they're saying this is happening, I'm not even 50 Cent yet.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like this is that thinks that far back.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not. didn't even take place at that point.
50 broke it down in the most 50 Cent way possible. The statute of limitations prevents criminal prosecution for that 2000 incident. So when Jay-Z's statement said, if this really happened, file criminal charges, 50 exposed it as a calculated PR move, not a genuine challenge. The man was playing chess while Jay-Z thought it was checkers. The question everybody asking is, did 50 Cent actually orchestrate these allegations? The research says no. The lawsuit's timeline predates 50 Cent's amplified commentary. There's no connection between 50 and Tony Busby. But here's the thing about a setup. You don't gotta fabricate the situation. You just gotta make sure everybody watching when it goes down. And that's exactly what 50 Cent did. He made sure the world was paying attention. Tony Yayo confirmed what everybody in hip-hop already suspected about the relationship between 50 and Jay-Z.
So with Jay is like, when the last time you haven't seen Jay, so I think people are just gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I mean, Jay, you know, you gotta remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super
you didn't
Bowl?
know that? Yeah, he didn't
Well,
want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hated.
This right here explains everything. Jay-Z allegedly tried to block 50 Cent from the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show, which Roc Nation produces. Eminem had to push back, saying he wouldn't do it without 50. That's not competition, that's obstruction. And 50 Cent never forgot it. So when them allegations dropped on Jay-Z, 50 had been waiting. He had receipts, he had motive, and he had a platform with millions of followers ready to watch the show. The setup wasn't about creating fake allegations. It was about 50 Cent positioning himself as the chief narrator of hip-hop's biggest scandals. He got a documentary in production. He got the social media following. He got the history with both Diddy and Jay-Z. When the dominoes started falling, 50 made sure he was the one pointing the camera. And here's what makes 50's approach so dangerous for Jay-Z. It's rooted in personal observation, not just speculation. 50 talked about how the invitations to parties always felt off to him. The energy was suspect, the vibe was wrong, so he kept his distance. Meanwhile, Jay-Z was photographed at events for decades. They collaborated on music. They praised each other publicly. They moved in the same circles. Whether that makes Jay-Z guilty of anything is a completely different question. But in the court of public opinion, proximity creates suspicion. 50 Cent understood this perfectly. He knew that when anyone in that orbit would face questions, and by positioning himself early as someone who stayed away, who saw the red flags, who tried to warn people, he created a stark contrast with Jay-Z's decades-long association with. The G-Unit boss also brought up an interesting point about Jay-Z's response to the allegations. When Jay put out that lengthy statement, he focused on his family, his legacy, and threatened legal action. What he didn't do was directly address specific claims point by point. 50 noticed. He always notices. And he made sure everyone else noticed too. The long game. Jay-Z's history and 50's receipts. Now that we understand how 50 Cent positioned himself as the narrator of Jay-Z's nightmare, we gotta examine the extensive history that gave Fifth all the ammunition he needed. Because this beef ain't just about one lawsuit, it's a decades-long chess match between two of hip-hop's most calculating minds. The rivalry between 50 Cent and Jay-Z represents one of hip-hop's most enduring competitive dynamics. It blends lyrical sparring, business competition, and social media jabs spanning over 2 decades. And unlike other beefs that burned hot and faded quick, this one simmered, with 50 Cent keeping the receipts warm and ready. After that initial How to Rob exchange in 1999, the two actually found common ground at times. In 2007, Jay-Z featured on the remix of 50 Cent's I Get Money alongside. But even on that track, Jay-Z couldn't help but remind everybody of his position, including the line, "I run New York." The dynamic shifted in 2017 when Jay-Z dropped his introspective album, 444. 50 Cent wasted no time posting criticism on Instagram, calling it Ivy League and golf course music. He implied Jay-Z had gotten soft, disconnected from the streets that made him relevant in the first place. This critique cut deep because it challenged Jay-Z's authenticity, the very foundation of his rap persona. 50 Cent described Jay-Z with precision in interviews.
Jay-Z.
Good business.
2 words. That's how Fifth summed up the man many consider the greatest rapper alive. Not the best, like he said about Eminem and Nas. Not loyalty, like he said about Tony Yayo. Just good business. In 50's world, that's almost an insult. It suggests Jay-Z is more corporate than creative, more calculated than genuine. But 50 Cent's most cutting observation came when he analyzed Jay-Z's approach to beef.
At the end of the day, I look at it and people don't assess themselves. Even really intelligent people. Jay's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll analyze other people and other things that they're doing and not actually look at what's happening to him and his transition and difference. But his actual, right now, he's in a real safe space. He created this real safe aura. This is why people walking on the stage and why it's happening like that. A lot of it wouldn't have been like that if he actually dealt with his issues himself. See, he's a piece of work, man. He always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him. And Beanie went back and forth with Jadakiss. When Cam came for him, he put True Life in front of him. And they went back and forth. And he just didn't compete.
This observation is devastating. 50 Cent is exposing a pattern. Jay-Z doesn't handle his own problems. He sends soldiers. He maintains distance. And according to 50, that's created a safe space aura that makes people feel comfortable disrespecting him publicly. 50 also brought up Jay-Z's marriage to Beyonce in ways that cut right to the core of Hov's legacy.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career, if you look at his career,
This guy. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had
And
one.
he ain't show up.
He has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
50 is saying Jay-Z's industry recognition skyrocketed after marrying Beyonce. Before that union, Jay had 1 Grammy. After, the trophies kept coming. Whether you agree with that assessment or not, it's the kind of observation that plants doubt in people's minds about Jay-Z's solo accomplishments. And then 50 Cent addressed the elephant in the room, Jay-Z's proximity to.
We talked about Jay. Proximity to. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around.
I don't know. That was a real suburb question.
I know, right? Proximity.
And the proximity.
Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
Do you think he knew all of the shit was going on? Then I was like a.
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I know, but the way he said it,
Like I said,
no matter how you answer that, you snitching.
That was a nice kind of question.
This is the crux of 50's setup strategy. He's not directly accusing Jay-Z of anything. He's raising questions. He's pointing at the proximity. He's letting the audience draw their own conclusions. And when you combine that with the actual allegations that emerged, it creates a narrative that's hard to shake. Research indicates that Jay-Z's connection began in the early 1990s amid New York's hip-hop scene. They started as rivals, Bad Boy Records and Jay-Z with Rockefeller, but evolved into collaborators. They attended events together, donated to causes like Hurricane Katrina relief in 2005, and publicly praised each other for decades. Jay-Z called inspirational at the 2022 BET Awards. They appeared at Rock Nation brunches together as recently as 2020. So when scandals exploded, the question of what Jay-Z knew became inevitable. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, stated in 2024 that they were professional acquaintances rather than close friends. But that distancing came after the scandal. Before that, the imagery told a different story, and 50 Cent made sure everybody saw the contrast. While Jay-Z tried to quietly distance himself, 50 was screaming from the rooftops about what he allegedly knew about for years. He positioned himself as the truth teller who stayed away from the parties, who saw the red flags, who tried to warn everybody.
Speaking of, in particular, Netflix docuseries that you've been working on, Do It.
Right.
You've been saying for years that you feel you knew character.
Right.
Yet you said you weren't a part of that lifestyle, you weren't going to the parties. So what makes you so absolutely sure that these kinds of allegations that we've seen against him are true?
Well, I'm surprised by the allegations, as surprised as everyone else is. Like, I didn't make the allegations, I didn't tell people to say these things. It comes out, I see it in the news like everyone else, but I did feel uncomfortable with the way you represent the idea of going to these projects.
To come party with me.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent ain't claiming to have inside knowledge of criminal activity. He's saying the vibe was off, the invitations felt wrong, the energy was suspect, and he kept his distance because of it. That positioning is everything. It creates a clear contrast. 50 Cent stayed away from questionable situations, while Jay-Z remained in his orbit for decades. Whether that's fair or not, it's effective storytelling. The Super Bowl situation that Tony Yayo revealed adds another layer. If Jay-Z really tried to block 50 from performing at the halftime show, an event Rock Nation produced produces, then 50 had personal motivation beyond just trolling. That's sabotage. That's using industry power to hurt a competitor's legacy moment.
Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay, I don't know, 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted him there. I don't know.
Because of what, some of the
it's
it's
competition. You got to think, 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the 50 Cent?
That was a long time ago.
That was what, 9? What was that? 9?
But after that, they did a song together. Remember the whole,
of course, but 50 was always competition for niggas. Then remember Jay said, yo, 50's coming.
Jay-Z himself acknowledged 50 Cent as a threat back in the day. In a 2013 Breakfast Club interview, Jay-Z recalled warning his Rockefeller artists about 50's rise. I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now because 50 Cent is coming. 4 months later, In Da Club hit and it was over. So Jay-Z always knew 50 was competition. And according to the G-Unit camp, that competition turned into obstruction. When Jay got the power to control who performs at the Super Bowl, 50 Cent performed anyway because Eminem demanded it, but that doesn't mean 50 forgot. In the world of hip-hop beef, memory is long and payback is inevitable. What makes this whole situation even more intriguing is how it connects to Jay-Z's carefully cultivated image. For years, Hav positioned himself as the elder statesman of hip-hop. He moved away from street narratives into corporate boardrooms. He traded rap beef for business deals. He became respectable. But 50 Cent never made that transition, at least not in the same way. He stayed messy, he stayed petty, he stayed entertaining. And now that approach is paying dividends because when scandals hit, people want the messy take, not the corporate statement.
He said, no, Eminem called directly for 50. And he said,
that's his guy.
He said, I can't do it if I can't bring 50 up.
But that's his guy.
Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. The big homie want to look like a gay painter.
That Basquiat reference is 50 Cent at his most cutting. He's taking something Jay-Z is proud of, his connection to art, his cultural sophistication, and flipping it into an insult. It's not about the art itself, it's about challenging Jay-Z's carefully constructed image. 50 sees Jay-Z's evolution from street rapper to cultural icon as a form of betrayal. He thinks Jay got soft, got corporate, got too comfortable, and now he's using every opportunity to remind people of what Jay-Z used to be and what he might still be underneath all that polish. The bigger picture: legacy, allegations, and the culture war. The final piece of this puzzle involves understanding what's really at stake here, and it goes way beyond social media trolling. We're witnessing a battle for narrative control over hip-hop's history, and 50 Cent is determined to write that story his way. Jay-Z built his empire on an image of untouchable excellence. He's the first hip-hop billionaire. He owns Roc Nation, which controls the Super Bowl halftime show. He's married to Beyoncé, the biggest female artist in the world. He sits at tables with NFL owners and Fortune 500 executives. He transcended rap to become a legitimate cultural institution. But 50 Cent sees something different. He sees a man who avoided direct confrontation his whole career, a man who sent soldiers to fight his battles, a man who accumulated power by never getting his hands dirty, at least not publicly.
If they do something crazy, right? How you gonna be doing what I'm doing and be comfortable if you ain't got no response?
This is 50's philosophy in a nutshell. He believes in immediate, direct response to any challenge. He doesn't delegate. He doesn't send representatives. He handles business personally and publicly. And he sees Jay-Z's more calculated approach as weakness masked as strategy. The allegations against Jay-Z, whether proven or not, threaten to unravel decades of careful image construction. The lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed with prejudice in February 2025, meaning it can't be refiled. Jay-Z then countersued the accuser and her lawyer Tony Busby for defamation. From a legal standpoint, Jay-Z appears victorious, but 50 Cent operates on a different battlefield, the court of public opinion. And in that arena, questions linger longer than verdicts. Doubt spreads faster than exoneration. The lawsuit's dismissal came after recordings emerged showing the accuser admitting Jay-Z did not assault her and that her lawyer pushed her to include him in the suit. This should have been a complete vindication for Jay-Z, but 50 Cent had already planted enough seeds that the narrative remains murky for casual casual observers who didn't follow the legal details. That's the power of 50's approach. He doesn't need convictions. He needs conversations. And those conversations extend beyond this one lawsuit. Jay-Z's history includes other incidents that 50 can reference when building his case. At age 12, Jay-Z shot his older brother Eric in the shoulder during an argument over stolen jewelry. In 1999, he stabbed record producer Lance Rivera at a Manhattan club, eventually pleading guilty to assault and receiving probation. Jay-Z has addressed these incidents openly, framing them as products of a violent environment he eventually escaped. But in the context of current allegations, that history creates a pattern that skeptics can point to. 50 Cent has his own complicated past. He was shot 9 times and survived. He's faced lawsuits and controversies, but he's positioned himself as someone who admits his flaws openly, who doesn't hide behind corporate polish. Whether that's authentic or strategic, it creates a contrast with Jay-Z's more guarded public persona. The cultural implications run deep. Some observers argue the allegations against Jay-Z reveal a culture of impunity in hip-hop where powerful men face delayed accountability. Others counter that unproven allegations shouldn't tarnish decades of achievement. $50. Cent has positioned himself on the side of skepticism toward industry power. His documentary suggests he's building a larger case about the dark side of hip-hop's elite. Whether Jay-Z features prominently in that narrative remains to be seen, but the groundwork has been laid.
This is people that are looking on separation between their hardships or their the things that they got going on that would be issues, and what a celebrity's issues would be.
Wait, what does that mean?
They think all celebrities are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, and when you see, if I wasn't saying anything, guess what? You could safely say that a person on the outskirts that is not involved in hip-hop culture could think that everybody in hip-hop culture is with that.
So by you, you're good, bro.
That's great.
You're fucking good.
Yeah.
He's protecting hip-hop.
Yeah.
If you don't speak out and make them the weirdos, then they're going to think everybody's
Every
like
single
that.
person is like that involved in.
This is 50's most sophisticated argument. He's saying his trolling serves a purpose. It separates normal hip-hop culture from the alleged predators. By loudly mocking and questioning Jay-Z, he positions himself and others as the good guys who weren't involved in that lifestyle. It's self-serving, sure, but it's also effective branding. 50 Cent gets to be the truth teller, the one who kept his distance, the one who saw the signs and spoke up. Whether that's accurate or revisionist history, it's the narrative he's selling. The irony is that 50 Cent and Jay-Z are more similar than either would admit. Both survived poverty and violence in New York. Both built business empires beyond music. Both are calculating, strategic thinkers who play the long game. But their approaches diverge fundamentally. Jay-Z accumulates power quietly and leverages it behind closed doors. 50 Cent accumulates attention loudly and leverages it publicly. Jay-Z wants respect from institutions. 50 Cent wants entertainment from chaos. Neither is necessarily right or wrong. They're just different philosophies of power. What makes this moment significant is that 50's approach seems to be winning in the current media landscape. In an era of social media virality and constant content, 50's willingness to post memes, share hot takes, and stir controversy generates more engagement than Jay-Z's measured silence. Jay-Z's response to the allegations was a lengthy written statement emphasizing family and legal threats. 50's response was jokes, memes, and interview clips. In terms of cultural penetration, 50's approach reached more people, even if Jay-Z's was more legally sound. The question now becomes, what's next? 50 Cent's documentary will likely premiere on Netflix at some point. The content of that project could either intensify scrutiny on Jay-Z or pivot entirely to other figures. 50's mentioned questions about Jay-Z's knowledge of his activities. Whether those questions appear in the documentary could be significant. Jay-Z, meanwhile, has stayed relatively quiet since the lawsuit's dismissal. He's focused on family and business, appearing at the Mufasa premiere that 50 mocked. His strategy seems to be weathering the storm and letting legal victories speak for themselves. But 50 Cent isn't done talking. He never is. And as long as he has a platform, he'll keep asking questions, posting memes, and reminding people of what he sees as Jay-Z's vulnerabilities. Did 50 Cent set up Jay-Z in the traditional sense of fabricating allegations? The evidence says no. But did he set up a media environment where any allegation against Jay-Z would receive maximum amplification and minimum benefit of the doubt? Absolutely. That's the setup. That's the long game. That's 50 Cent doing what he does best, winning a war his opponent didn't even know was being fought. The streets is watching, and right now, 50 Cent is the one telling them what to look at What comes next in this saga remains to be seen. The documentary could drop any day now. More allegations could surface against others in that circle. The legal battles will continue. The social media war will escalate. But one thing is clear, 50 Cent positioned himself perfectly for this moment. While Jay-Z was building boardroom relationships and collecting accolades, 50 was building a narrative arsenal. While Jay-Z was attending galas with you-know-who, 50 was declining party invitations and remembering the vibes that fell off. Now, when the questions come, 50 has answers, or at least he has questions that sound like answers. And in the era of social media justice, that might be all you need. Jay-Z's legal team can win every case. His PR team can craft perfect statements. His business empire can continue growing. But 50 Cent has something Jay-Z can never fully control, the story, and Fifth ain't done writing it yet. That brings us to the end of this video. For more interesting videos like this, click on the cards on your screen.